Welcome back, viewers. Welcome back from the break. And this is still the follow-up edition of Business Compass. And we have a new guest in the studio coming back from season 1. And we're going to follow up on how well she's done since she was last here. And I've now been joined by Frank and Petra, two of my regular panelists, who are coming to help us do the follow-up with 2 businesses. So, Frank, welcome. Petra, welcome.
Thank you.
And it's a pleasure to have you back in the studio, Trudy.
Thank you.
Viewers, I'm sure you remember Mrs. Trudy Boating of Studio 7, who was with us in season 1 of Business Compass. So tell us, after your first appearance, how did that go?
It's been going well.
Was it useful to you in any way?
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. Okay. Extremely useful. I feel like the business has been taken to another level.
Fantastic.
You know, especially with the advice I got from here. Okay. You know, and I'm actually giving others, you know, similar pointers that you gave me.
Fantastic.
Yes,
well done.
And yeah.
I remember one of your key challenges was bookkeeping and separating yourself from the business. How are you doing now?
Oh, fantastically. I can say. You know, I feel like, you know, something is just taking off. A burden is just lifted off me.
Okay.
So I got an accountant who, he's on retainer.
Okay.
He comes in every week to check the books with my manager. So they go through all the books, all the deposits, all the expenses that's been made. Like, we're basically keeping very good track of the
And now you can
finances.
also see where you're doing well, which areas you're not doing well.
Exactly.
Fantastic.
Exactly.
I know Frank is itching to ask you about your rent.
Please
From
ask
season
me.
1.
Please ask me.
Rent in dollars.
Please ask me.
Is your rent still in dollars?
No, it is not.
Okay.
You
How
moved.
do you feel now?
Okay, so we moved to a new location. I don't know if I mentioned
Okay.
the last time I was here, yes. And so I had a meeting with my landlord who, after consideration, actually put the rent in cities now. So it's stabilized. There's no fluctuations with the
And not only
exchange
that,
rate.
you're paying, your expenses are now matching your receivables.
Exactly.
Because you're receiving in cities and you're paying rent in
city, yeah.
Fabulous, fabulous. And I've seen your new premises. Absolutely beautiful.
Thank you.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
Very
thank
in
you.
line with the brand.
Thank you.
Petra.
So, I watched the episode. I actually mentioned to Charlotte that's one of the most pleasant episodes of Business Compass.
Oh,
I
thank
experienced you and your brand, and there was just this alignment.
Thank
and I've
you.
experienced
Thank
the
you
brand
so
because I've
much.
been to your studio.
Yes,
and the experience
you
was
have.
really wonderful. One of the pieces of advice that you left with the last time was about tracking your customers.
Yes.
How's that going?
Okay, so it's something we're still working on.
Okay.
It's something we're still working on because we've had quite an inflow of new customers, yes, and we switched managers, a couple of managers, you know, since I was last here.
Okay.
So how the transition with the managers and them having to catch up with the clients and all of that, it's been a bit, but the current one, who's really good, is catching up. So we are catching up to that as well.
It's something you still need to keep your eye on. And I don't think you should just leave it to the manager. The
Yes.
personal connection is important.
Yes,
You must stay connected to the business and to your customers.
I do
So-
that as well.
You basically want to tell us you've addressed all the challenges with
Well, I believe so. Since I was last here, yes. Now trying to.
you. Or you implemented all the advice.
Yes, I did actually. Absolutely, I did.
Did you get a tax expert? We told you to get a tax expert to advise you.
Yes, so I did. I did actually. I went back and looked at the whole VAT, all of that. Yes. So I did.
So if the taxman visits you now, would you be able to show with your account to say, I don't owe you?
Now she
Absolutely.
can justify
Absolutely.
it. She's really
Okay.
inviting
Absolutely.
you.
Every month they take their taxes. There's a system in place now, so everything, all outflows, taxes, all of that goes out on time. So
Okay, so now you're ready to get even
expand,
bigger.
yes, scale
What
up.
challenges are you anticipating? Can we help in any way?
The challenge now is, I don't know who to pass, whether it's half me or half my staff, or it's a mix of both. Because I'm looking at scaling up the business, and I'm looking at the bigger picture, and, you know, basically looking at the business side of things. I always, try and speak to my staff, to implement some of these things. They do it for a while and then they just drop the ball again. So when I think, okay, we've got this under control, let me focus on other things, and then they just relax,
I'm saying
So
two
client
things.
retention,
It may be that you also need to organize a team building exercise with them,
Yeah.
and probably challenges you work almost all the time, but the next time there's like a long weekend over a holiday, maybe you can consider having a little retreat. It doesn't have to be out of town, doesn't have to be too fancy, but sometimes time away from the premises
Yeah.
helps everybody see the bigger picture, and then you now do a vision session with them. Let the vision is with you, and I've had talks with you, so I know there's a big vision, but you need to help them see that vision
Absolutely.
and see themselves as partners in rolling out that vision. So at this
Absolutely.
point it's all in your head and you're just giving instructions. They can't see what you are seeing. So you need team building, but you need them to also be part of the vision bearers, see the vision you're seeing and be partners in delivering that. That may help. Then after that you can now do the training, and you have to keep training. That's what I would suggest.
Yeah.
Petra, yeah.
She left the last in season 1 with the track that said track.
Yes.
I think it boils down to tracking again. What gets measured gets done. If they don't know that, if they feel that you would check 3 times a week and then the other 4 times they can get away with it, they would decide not to do it. And it's just, we can't rely on people's good nature or that they will do the
Or
right
good
thing
memory.
or good memory.
Yeah.
So it's just really tracking. And it might have to be the business manager or the salon manager who is actually like a supervisor, making sure everybody does the right thing. It could also be cultural, where we feel that when someone is being too persistent on the right thing being done, then they're being difficult. But in the setting that you're in, for standards and service quality, you really have to
In a
have
pandemic era,
Yeah.
you really have to have someone who is just paying attention with
Yeah.
checklists
Yeah.
and not relying on their memory,
I like that
but someone who is actually going through a checklist and saying that, okay, we're supposed to do 10 things every day and we've done these 10 things and we can sign off and say, yes, it's been done. So very, very basic things, like when you talk about being in a pandemic, how many times are they wiping off surfaces? How many times are they replacing things they're supposed to replace? And is it being done? Because then they might fall into the thing of, oh, it doesn't really matter. And it's just that one slip
Yeah.
you need to create a problem. So I would say, let's go back to the track. Somebody needs to just be paying attention. And it might not, if you feel that it's too much work, extra work for the salon manager, you might get an intern, a young person who does their job to just make sure that all of the things you want them to do, the checklist is being done, and someone is taking responsibility for the key items. And when it comes to, and in customer service as well, you might want to do what we call blueprinting. You create a framework written down of what you expect them to do. So when a customer walks in, this is what we have to say. Like going into a shop in the US or UK, you sometimes get tired with
because everybody's telling you the
saying
same.
the same
Yeah.
thing, yes. So we can modify it a bit to make it suitable for our environment, but it has to be consistent. So when someone walks in, what do we say? What information do we take from them? And how do we make sure that we've taken it? And you track as well. So at the end of the week, you ask them, okay, how many people walked in today? How many phone numbers, email addresses, how many contacts do we have? And you're checking that it doesn't have
And
to be
even
complicated.
cross-selling. How many other services did you talk to them
Exactly.
about?
So the
Yeah.
cross-selling is also very important in a business like yours, where I might walk in and say I want to have a pedicure, but they can convince me to do so many other things, whether on the spot or later. And it's a skill that you can teach them, because if you don't intentionally do it, they don't get the sense they have to do it.
Yeah.
And the idea is that they should take more money from the people who walk in than they are expected to spend.
Thank you.
That's really great advice, Petra. Thank you. But I was also wondering, Frank, is it possible for Trudy to tie this to remuneration?
Yeah.
As in this week, so rather than the stick or the talking, because this person met all the targets or did all the things she was supposed to do, she gets this little perk for this week. Would
Yes.
that work?
Yes. So I mean, like I think Charlotte mentioned, let them feel part of the business, part of ownership. Let them be part of a team building, and then they know that, oh, this shop is supposed to make this amount of revenue. If they hit that target, their bonus or reward is this.
Yeah.
And then the reward is based on meeting some of the basic administrative
Or the extra things we want them to do.
Yeah, extra things we want to do. So yes, you've met the revenue well, but have you met the little things you're supposed to do? Maybe get the contact of any person who comes in, follow up with a call a day or two after. Have they been doing that? And then once they see that it's tied to money coming to them, trust me,
Or a
everybody.
peck or whatever.
A peck. It could be at the end of the month, best worker award, which could be maybe a treat. They themselves will do their hair for free. I don't know whether they do it for free now. They do their hair for free.
A week.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, something. Or they can recommend a friend to come for free or a sibling to do something for free. And
Okay.
people will chase that and you should be fine. But again, because you are growing, it's about system. So whatever you put in one organization, make sure it could be replicated in others so that anytime I enter into any studio 7, and I get that same consistent feel
Absolutely.
of services. Yeah.
Absolutely.
So does this help?
A lot, a ton. Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you so much.
So what's the message? You're going to keep tracking. So now
Yes.
the message the first time was track, but we were concerned about your numbers.
Finances, yes.
And now you are tracking the numbers. So now you're now going to be tracking something different.
Yes.
The customer service, the
customer
experience
service,
of the
yeah.
clients, how many people are following up on the clients, feedback, all the little things that make clients happier.
Yeah.
And when we track that, I'm almost certain it would get done because it also forces you to go back and check it. And they would even remind you when there's a little perk tied to it.
Yeah. They definitely will. They definitely
Lovely to
will.
have had you back.
Thanks for having
And
me.
you know we're always here. You don't have to wait to come into the studio.
I know.
You
I
can
know.
call at
I
any
know.
time, send a
I
message
know.
out for help.
I know. And I will. I feel like I'm now.
Go forth and conquer.
I will. Thank you so
Alrighty.
much. Thank you.
Viewers,
so
that was Studio 7. Mrs. Trudy Boating was back in the studio. It's been a lovely conversation. We're going to go listen to Coach Bell, and when we come back, we're going to have a new follow-up guest in the studio.
Welcome to Coach's Corner on Business Compass. Today's tip is on maintaining a positive outlook. This ability to see the good in a challenging situation is the emotional intelligence competence called positive outlook. Positive outlook refers to our ability to see the best in people, situations, and events. When people have positive outlook, they see the glass half full, cultivate positive emotions in challenging moments, pursue their goals no matter what life throws their way, focus on what is working, see the best in themselves, leverage strengths in order to solve problems and create productive outcomes. In the words of Harvey Mackay, an optimist understands that life can be a bumpy road, but at least it is leading somewhere. They learn from mistakes and failures, and they are not afraid to fail again. End of quote. You have the power to choose positive outlook. Thank you.
Immediately the product was actually introduced to me, I wanted to get on it, and that was the Gold Check account, guys. This has actually changed my business. So on the First National Bank app, you have the business toolkits that gives you all the information that you need to run your business, and whatever inquiries you have, they're always ready to answer, and that makes life very easy for me. And you have the in contacts that helps you access every transaction that takes place or happens. Now, point of sales terminal, I mark it wherever I go, and so I love to have that so I can take payment, especially with those who tell me I do not have cash. A bank that understands that you can start life all over again or start a business from scratch. Very keen on running it and making sure that you grow to the core. It's one you should look out for. My name is Jifa Bekre-Gray, the CEO of Jifa Gray Creations. I recommend that you sign up to the Gold Check account from First National Bank for a great banking experience.
Whatever the occasion, with ATL, you can never be out of style. ATL, bringing fabric to life.